So my name is Mark Havard. I've lived on the coast. I moved down here in probably 99, moved to Biloxi, met my wife. I was a banker in Van Cleve. She was a banker in Biloxi. And one day we decided that we wanted to grow our family. And so I'd come to the realization that financially we couldn't make it off of what I was making at the bank. Made a career move, went to one of the bigger industries on the coast. Then I got a phone call from someone that I didn't know, and they convinced me to come talk to them about a position. It was about a $40 million organization. I sat with the owner's mother. She taught me accounting. One day it clicked, and I said, I get this. I got it. About 6 or 7 years into my career, the owner decided that he wanted to start expanding. So it seemed like overnight, we went from one location to 4 locations. So I went from a controller up into a chief financial officer. Money grew, our household grew, our spending grew, but my hours started to increase. But after about year 6, we started expanding some more. In those windows of my life, I was spending 14 to 15 hours a day at work, leaving at 6:30, getting home at 10 some nights, and getting up and doing it all over again. Because I thought my goal personally was I wanted to go to the top of the ladder. I wanted to see how much money I was capable of making. I wanted to see just how far I could go in the corporate world. After that, after about year 8 into it, I started thinking, I'm like, I'm spending way too much time away from home. My brain is turned to mush when I get home. I'm mentally exhausted. My physical ability has gone downhill drastically. It was just all the stress, wearing the stress every day. I didn't realize I was wearing that much stress, but my family did. And it was time for me to take a step. My priority's always been my boys and my wife, trying to nurture that relationship. Nurturing a marriage is very difficult, as we all know. Growing children up to give them a good foundation is extremely difficult. I wanted to give my boys time. And I guess about year 10 into my corporate role, I was late one fall, I'll never forget it. And I was talking to my dad. He told me, he said, son, the one thing I want, I can't buy. I'm like, what is that? And he said, time. He said, I want all those hours back where I was working 2 or 3 jobs, and I want to throw the football with you. I want to throw the baseball with you. I want to spend time with your sister, because I spent time working because I thought that that's what I had to do, and nothing ever satisfied me. Nothing ever. Time is where it's at. And I said, I want to put myself on a 5-year plan. And I want to say, I want to be completely out of the corporate world in 5 years. And I'm like, well, first thing, how are you going to do that? That's crazy. You can't do that. You've yearned for this position or at the top of the ladder for so many years. Eventually, I guess my wife run into somebody and they said, hey, he can come help us. And then a week later, he called me and he's like, hey, I really do want you to come talk to me about helping me in the back of the house. And I said, I really appreciate it, but I only want to work a couple days a week. Then he offered me a job 3 days a week. I'm like, okay, there's part of my step. So about 2 years ago, we started an oyster company. We started growing oysters. And the reason I started is because it was something my boys and I could do together. So I ended up taking that job, and a friend of mine's got all the consulting that I want 1 day a week. And I'm gonna grow oysters the other day a week. It's exactly what I wanted. And it wasn't by accident. I'm a firm believer that it was not by accident. When you get to the top, you're gonna find out that there's nothing there but more stress. What was important in my life? I left them at home way too much, because at that point you sold your hours. You're selling your hours, and we're not promised any, but we're selling hours. The best part of our life, we're selling. But it's all about being together, because at the end of the day, we're nothing but a memory. And what kind of memory do you want to be?